It's DylonND, your favorite motorcycle YouTuber with broken ribs. Maybe I'm the only one right now. Oh, Jesus, that hurt. Anyway, I wish I was kidding. My plan this year was to make a bunch of racing content about my club racing adventures and really just do race reports and stuff like that. But guess what? I high-sided. So I was knocked unconscious. I have a couple of broken ribs, 5 and 6, and it hurts. Everything hurts. I am crushed emotionally, mentally, physically. Yeah, it all sucks. However, glass half full, I'm okay. I can walk around. I'll be able to ride again very shortly. Bikes, mechanically, fairly all right. The front forks are jorked, as your favorite vampire would say. They've been jorked around crazy style by the ground, and the rear sets are a bit rough. Mechanically, the bike's okay, though. So, most importantly, though, I'm all right, ish. I'm okay. Yeah. Not really the way you want to begin your first club racing adventure. Took me 2.5 years to build the bike to get here to race, and I threw it all away in the weekend. Unfortunately, first race, lap 3 or 4, is when it happened. So my plan now is to make content of me probably fixing this bike up and just talking about gear reviews and stuff, and to get back to racing eventually. If not at the end of the year this year, next year, because I do want to race again. But I have to do, my wallet has to open up, and I have to fix this thing and heal, most importantly, heal myself first, because that's the most important thing. Man, this feels like Hamlet. Like I feel like it's like I've got a clown nose on the front and a knife in my back. That's kind of what my motorcycling adventures, and most of my adventures, unfortunately, have felt like. There's always some sort of like little sprinkle of tragedy in there. I have no idea why. I'm okay, though. I wish Revy was okay. She's not okay. I'm gonna have to fix her. Without further ado, here is my race recap of round 1 of the MRA. So as you can see here, I'm on Pacific Coast Highway. Got about a second left before the lights go out. There we go, 24 of 24. I have 31 seconds to hit the next checkpoint. I smacked that guy in front of me, and then I ended up busting a fat wheelie through this tunnel here, which was pretty awesome. And then I just completely forgot to turn here, and that's it. Okay, in all seriousness, here's the actual lightweight GP race. So I started way in the back because the way they do it is based on when you register. Anyway, so made a big cut through the pack. It was pretty chaotic here, the first part of the race, and it's hard to find your line when there's so many other people around you. Here I was like, oh, I've got some pace, I'll just ride around the outside into the next corner, which is what I ended up doing. And then now we're in turn 3, so get through 3. I saw my buddy Chris poke his wheel, so I was like, okay, Chris is with me. Chris and I were, he's on a ZX4RR, we ran around the same lap time. So I knew it was me and him were going to be linked up at some point. This guy came up on the inside, braked early, went around him on the inside. I had just put new brake pads in, so I actually hadn't really, I hadn't even really scrubbed these in yet. That guy went really wide into 5, and then here the race is kind of settling down a little bit. Just kind of finding my groove, because I do feel like I had a little bit of pace. Coming out of 6 now, first lap still felt pretty dang chaotic. And then up this hill, which I kind of had to shut off because I carry a lot of roll speed up this hill pretty easily. I don't know why, it just feels good there. So then I got around here, and you'll notice this is when Chris popped up on the outside. So I was like, okay, cool, we're in the same spot, because we kind of predicted we would be around the same area of each other based on our lap times over last year when we were kind of out doing track days and whatnot. And now we're getting towards the end of the first lap of the race. there was this guy, I think that's like an R7 or something, that I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get around him if I want to keep up with Chris, because I see Chris kind of disappearing from me. So make my move into the last two corners of the racetrack here at High Plains. Chris brakes really late, so I'm just kind of settling in behind him. And something about my new brake pads was that they were a lot better than my old ones, so the marker that I used to brake at was actually a little bit too early. So I was actually braking way too early and getting more stopping power than what I was used to based on my last pair that I had. So as you can see here, I'm kind of realizing that as I'm trying to work my way back up to catch up to Chris. And now we're getting onto the front straight, which I carry quite a bit of roll speed because I'm just trying to remember to basically follow those new lines that I was taught by one of my good buddies, Seth. He was kind of showing me better lines to take around the track for racing, which is what I was trying to do. 4, you can see, this is usually where I brake really late, but Chris in front of me brakes really late as well. So I know I have my work cut out for me. Turn 5, I feel pretty good. He looked back to see kind of where I was, so I was like, okay, it's on now. We can see the 2 leaders in front of us. He's in 3rd, I'm in 4th. So I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good like pace to run. And then as we go into 7 is where I realized I had some roll speed on him, even on the outside. I carried a little bit more lean angle, so obviously more risk. And then my first pass around him, right here around the outside, but then he comes back around, so I made room for him because I'm like, okay, he's coming back through. So then he cut back in. It was a lot of fun, honestly. I was having a blast. We were just kind of feeling our times out and stuff like that. So anyway, now we're at the last part of the track where it's this like long double apex on 11, and then it's like a really steep uphill. And you can see I kind of poke my nose here in front of him, but then he comes back around because I'm just kind of feeling out where I'm faster, where I'm slower. He brakes really late into 13. Here we go, back onto the front straight. So finally settled into a rhythm here. We see the first 2 guys got away from us a little bit. He brakes really late into 1 again, which is really impressive in my book. And I'm just getting used to my brake pads yet again. So just basically hanging out behind him, trying to figure out, the spots where I'm a little bit better or a little bit slower. We're pretty even through this section here. What's interesting is I think his bike dynoed around 68 horsepower and mine dynoed like exactly around 70. So we're pretty dang close in power as well. I think weight maybe even too. Brakes really late into here, but the good news for me is I caught a lot of roll speed through that corner instead, which is another trick I was working on. Bike just went down, fortunately. Then I had a really good launch or a run through that corner, which is 5, and here's 6. 6 is kind of famous for being a very, very late apex. And now here's 7, which I know I'm stronger. So basically rolling up this hill, I roll right up onto the back of him, and then I keep the power on, and he actually brakes a little early, which allowed me to kind of stick my nose in, kind of charge corner 6, but then get out of there. Oh, that's 8, sorry. Charge corner 8, but then I finally have some clear in front of me and I can see the leaders. And I did run a 206 something, which was my fastest lap time ever. So it's really a shame I didn't stay on the bike, because I think both of us could have gotten even further down into better lap times. And this is the only lap I actually managed to do before tragedy strikes, essentially. And then back out onto the main straight, and I believe Chris out brakes me here back into 1, because I brake pretty. Nope. Okay, I did good there. So kept him at bay through 1. Now we're going through 2 again, which was repaved, but I didn't really even notice it. Hit some actually okay lines here, which is good. I was looking way, way, way ahead. I was trying to, just to kind of keep my speed up. And then, obviously, I need to get all the way to the edge of the track here, which I did, which is good. I was trying to do a couple things of like squaring up the corners and whatnot. Now watch this into 4. 4 is amazing pass, really late, because it's not like I didn't brake. I braked probably at the middle point, but he braked at the very end. So anyway, I show Chris my nose again, and then we're going into 6. Now I know we're pretty much basically even overall. Now as we go through up 7 here, this is where yet again I get more roll speed on him. I carry a little bit more lean angle, like I said, more risk. And then same exact pass as the previous laps, I just kind of block pass into 8, and then we take off in 9. And then I remember looking over to make sure he had some room here. And I tried this new line where you kind of go into 9A and 9B. All right, this is 10, I believe. And I thought I had basically got around him for good yet again, hopefully. I was like, we'll see. Going up 11 now, I believe. So anyway, this is where it happens. There you go. And I'll break this down. I've done this corner a million bazillion times. Never had any issues ever. However, my rear sets were touching at several corners on the track. And then the unfortunate thing about this is that I would drag them, especially downhill. I think I bottomed out my bike. The preload was a bit too soft, and the bike would actually bottom out. So what's crazy about this is what I remember is as I was tipping in to this corner here, something caught on the bottom right of my bike. And basically, if you slow it down, you can kind of tell. I got stuck inside that like camber there with either my rear set, my boot, or my belly pan. And then when it popped out of that like groove, the front tire went airborne. And then the rear tire, you can actually see it if I slow it down. The front tire went up in the air, and then the rear tire went up in the air, and it landed. And right when it landed, it's crazy. I got thrown. I basically got like thrown over the front of the bike. And when it landed, it immediately high-sided. And you can tell by the angle, you can actually see the bike come off the ground. I don't even know how I managed to do it, but both tires went airborne. It lands, and then immediately high-sides. So as you can see here, I'm slowing it down. It does that, literally flips upside down, lands on the tank. I don't really remember much from this point out. I remember holding onto the bike and just kind of going, uh-oh. You can see my windscreen explode here. Now, what's crazy here is if you slow it down frame by frame, you can actually see me. There's my leg. So there I am in relation to the bike. I'm pretty much knocked out. And then you see Chris go through here on the left side. Thanks for avoiding me. I appreciate it. Kind of put him in a scary situation. And then the funny thing about this, the entertainment part here, is my reservoir sock just taking a trip into a different universe. And then this shot right here. That's me. Somehow the GoPro grabbed me sliding on the ground. So you can see I've got my left arm up in the air. I'm just flying across the track like a rag doll. I've talked to a ton of people about it. Nobody really knows for sure. People don't really crash there like this, which is why the whole situation is just so strange to me. There's a couple of arguments to be made that the geometry of the bike was a little low in the rear, and I may have overcorrected, or me trying to save the bunny hop slide thing caused a worse accident. Either way though, I have to live with my fractured ribs, a pulmonary contusion, and my bruised ego, and a very smushed motorcycle. That is my wrap up of my first race weekend.
Oh,
you're still here. I'm DylonND. Thanks for watching my video. And I'll see you in the next one, Space Motorcyclist. Also, no high-siding. That means you viewer, no high-siding. I've done it. I high-sided. No one else is going to high-side this year. That's it. Yeah. Ow. Oh God. I can't even laugh. That's the thing about having fractured ribs is like you can't laugh. One final note is I wanted to thank everybody who supported me on my racing journey and the club and everyone involved in my life for helping me get to this point. I am very grateful and thankful for your assistance, and I just wanted to say thanks.